Don't throw away your photos just because the colors are a little weird. Often you could fix them in Photoshop. TV Garage's Alex Lindsay, our Photoshop fanatic, is here. And this time, not Photoshop, but the Elements program.
Exactly. So the first Wednesday of every month, we'll do Elements. We'll try to do something in Elements because we had a lot of people who have seen it that really want to.
Well, Photoshop's so expensive.
It is. It's for a pro, it's cheap. It's nothing.
It's worth it.
It's worth every penny.
Right.
But if you're just getting into this and you need to just correct some photos, Elements is a really, really great solution.
Can Elements do, in this respect, everything that Photoshop can do? Is there?
Yes and no. I mean, it does what we're going to show really, really well.
It's kind of designed to do this kind of stuff.
Features that you have in Photoshop. So every little tool in Elements has 4 or 5 little tools taken out. So for me, it's hard because I have to kind of figure out what I have and what I don't.
But us normal people, we probably would never even notice.
Exactly.
In fact, it makes it easier in a way.
A lot less cluttered.
All right. So who sent you this?
This was sent in by Gerald Oldfield and Oldberg, and he's in Florida and he was shooting. Oh, he's in Missouri, but he was in.
He was on vacation.
He was on vacation shooting, and he shot these.
Beautiful.
He shot these. He has all these underwater photos.
But very hard to get the color correction right in an underwater photo.
Yeah. One of the problems is that light absorbs red wavelengths.
The water does.
The water.
Right.
The water brings in red wavelengths, and so what happens is the deeper you go, the more blue and green it gets.
Right.
So what he had is he was telling me that this sand down here is actually white.
Should be white.
Right.
Well, that's a key. That's key, right?
Very useful.
He knew if we can get that white balance,
exactly,
we can fix this.
Exactly. So that was the beginning of where I started to work.
Because that's what we've talked about before. If you white balance a camera, a video camera or a still camera, to make the white, and then everything else will be true to color.
Exactly.
Okay.
Now, one of the things that we get a lot of questions about, I just got a few of them this morning when they saw this up on the web. There's a ton of stuff, by the way. There's I went through a lot on the web about scanning because Gerald had some questions about how to scan this stuff. So there's a bunch of stuff we're not going to talk about here, but if people go to the call for help.
That's useful. Yeah, read that. Yeah.
There's a lot of what you need to think about when you're scanning.
Right.
So one of the things people have been asking about is why not just use, if you go up to image here, you can do auto levels, right? The problem is I'm going to show you if I add this levels here. So this is a different levels, kind of hidden. In Photoshop
auto levels.
And this is the regular levels. Now, if I hit auto, that's the same as auto levels.
Oh.
And it brought a little bit of contrast out.
Yeah, but it really didn't do a very good job.
Yeah, what's happening is all auto levels does, if I look at the different channels, it simply just squeezes where the white and black points are.
It eliminates the empty spots.
Exactly. But what it doesn't do is this gray value is where all of the work really gets done. So what we need to do is we need to define the white and the black really accurately, and then we got to play with the gray values.
It's just sticking it in the middle. It's saying 50%.
It just puts it squeezes it and then puts it right in the middle.
Right.
So let's if I hold down, by the way, if you're ever using a lot of these tools, if you hold down, if you've made adjustments and you just want to go back, hold down the Option or Alt key, and that cancel turns into reset. And then so you just it's a little.
That's by itself, the tip right there. Alt or Option.
Yeah, you hold down the Option. So a lot of times you'll be experimenting with something and you go, but you did something really complex.
And I always go to undo and undo and undo. This is so great.
So you can just drop it out. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell Elements where the white point and the black point are. So if I click this little eyedropper down here, this is going to tell Elements I'm going to sample where my white point is. So I'm going to click on that. And now I can go over here and I can find the thing that looks the whitest on the sand.
Right.
And if I click on it,
well, that changed everything.
So that changed everything, and it might have made it a little too bright, but it's pretty close. Now
at least the sand's white.
Yeah, the sand is now white.
Okay.
And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to.
Would it have been better if you'd clicked on like a darker, bluer part of the sand?
Well, if I click on the darker part of the sand, what'll happen is it'll blow everything that's above that to white. You want to really pick the brightest thing there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the black point.
Let's find the darkest part.
And this looks pretty dark in here.
Yeah.
So we'll click in here, and you can see how it's now made it. It started to create more of an accurate contrast.
Yeah.
So now the next step is for me to start playing with the actual coloration. So what I can do is, while you can see RGB here, I can also have direct control over the red, green, and blue.
So just to briefly summarize, kind of recap that every image has a red, green, and a blue component or a channel.
Exactly.
and they combine to make all the colors of the rainbow.
Exactly.
Okay, so you're going to look at each individual
So
channel.
now what we're looking at is this is the information, and what this histogram, this is a histogram,
Mm-hmm.
and what this is the percentage of, this is the number of pixels in any area. This is pure black,
Right.
and this is pure white.
Okay.
And you have a lot of pixels in the middle, and you can see where there's none over here in the white area. So that's what we're doing. Now, when we move this middle slider, what we're saying is this used to be 50% gray, but let's move it over here.
Okay.
So if I move...
But you're doing it only in the green channel instead of all three.
Exactly, because what I want is I want to pull some of the green out,
Mm.
right? So what I want to do is if I pull this...
It's too green. Oh, look, it makes it blue. Now actually, go pull back and do it again, because then they can see the actual effect. I love the fact that Photoshop does it in real time.
Yeah, it's...
So you kind of see what you're doing.
Well, that's one of the keys, is just playing with a lot of this.
Yeah, yeah.
So now we have a lot less blue, but the problem is, or a lot less green.
The problem is a lot more blue.
Yeah, a lot more blue. So what we do is we'll go into the blue and we'll pull that down too.
Oh, look at this. Oh my good, Alex.
So what?
Alex, you're amazing.
So
look at that.
We brought a lot of that, you know, and if we turn the preview on and off, you can kind of see what we've done so far.
You know what's interesting is you actually see more detail too. I mean, you see the grain of the sand now.
Right. All of that stuff starts to
look
come
at
out
that.
because it was all there, but it was just hidden underneath.
That's the key. It was all there.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if a picture is too badly blown out or too,
then the information is just not there to grab. But
how do you know that the information was there?
You could play with it.
Oh, you just have to see.
There was a couple photos he sent me that
you couldn't
wasn't
fix.
all there.
Okay.
So.
But this is great.
Yeah. So and then now one of the things you'll notice about this is that if I go here, okay, so we've got the levels. Now the great thing about this levels control here in the layers is that if I double click, I can always go back and readjust it. I didn't do any permanent effect to my image.
It's created, in effect, a new level with the layers in it.
It's a new layer with a levels call that just is applied to anything below it. Now,
that's interesting. So if you moved it lower down, it would only apply to the stuff below it.
Is it, like, watch, if I copy this.
Oh, that's interesting.
And I put this above it.
It changes it back.
See, it's only.
Oh, interesting.
It's only the area that's above it.
Man.
Or below it.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things that happened is when we made this darker, if you look at, there was some fish in here that you can't see.
Oh, they're gone, yeah.
This white area right here is what's called a layer mask. Okay. So what it does is it controls how much the levels are applied to the layer below it.
Got it.
So what I can do is if I just paint some black into this, when it's white, it says it's full bore.
All white.
You know.
Or all whatever.
It's all whatever's going on
here. All whatever,
the
100% layer. Got it.
But if I go in here and I select.
And now you're not painting on the picture, you're painting on the levels.
I've selected the levels here, so I'm painting on the levels.
It's almost like you're dodging it now.
Exactly. It's exactly what a photographer would do to dodge it, and you can see how I'm bringing some of that detail back out.
That's so cool.
And this is exactly, you know, a lot of times when you see stuff on a calendar or anything else, you're not seeing what was shot. You're seeing what the photographer did.
Right.
Both what the photographer shot and what they did in the darkroom, and so you're not doing anything that an average photographer wouldn't do.
It's totally changed the business of photography.
Yeah.
In the past, you had to get the shot right.
Well, no. In the past,
you could do a little bit in the darkroom.
You have little things that you would kind of cover
dodge
up,
and burn,
dodge and burn.
Yeah.
So they've been doing this for a long time. It's a lot easier now. I mean, this is a lot.
Look at that.
So now you can see it's a little splotchy. I mean, I'd have to work on it a little bit, but you can see how I brought a lot of that
we've made a great
out.
deal of progress, and I guess he'll have to go through all his pictures and do this.
Exactly. But as you can see, it doesn't take
long.
that long.
And there's really no way to automate it because it's different in each picture, unfortunately.
Yeah, you're really kind of... Now, if you get a bunch of them that were all shot at the same time, you might be able to automate the batch.
At least to get started.
Exactly.
Okay. If you want to know more about this, I mean, look at that. You brought it back. For more information on how to color correct your pictures in Photoshop, our website is techtv.com/call for help. As Alex pointed out, there's a lot more there on a lot of other topics as well. As usual, he's written an opus, and we have it online. From DV Garage, Alex Lindsay, thank you so much, our Photoshop fanatic. Go to dvgarage.com, too, for some great tools.